Now it's time for us to stand up for God or we fall to nothing.
It's time now for Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Listening to the general public, what the public is saying.
And good afternoon, Radio Cayman Nation, and a very happy Friday to you. Thank you for tuning into your station of the nation, Radio Cayman. I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. The countdown is still on for week 1, and day 5 is here already, and just like that. We do have a very busy show today, showcasing the 2024 Cayman Arts Festival. Later on the show, the Family Resource Center, and a review again of their first quarter programs. And then later in the show, UCCI. As always, we do welcome your stories, feedback, and questions, and invite you to join the conversation. Simply dial 949-6990, or you can WhatsApp us at 925-3261. Back with more talk today following this very brief disclaimer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Live Communication.
Let your voice be heard.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. This is Raymond Singh filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. And not to worry, his truly, Mr. Sterling will be back in studio on Monday. Hopefully he's had a restful, long vacation, enjoyed the holiday spirit, and then is coming in fully refreshed and ready to tackle all of the heavy calls for the year. I get the light load. I get to talk about the Arts Festival, right? He comes in next week and has to deal with all the real heavy lifting, right? Well, good afternoon, gentlemen. Happy New Year. Welcome back to Talk Today.
Happy New Year. Thank you for having us here. I wish you a really good year. It's like home here always.
It is. You're no strangers, Marius and Glenn from
Happy
the Arts
New Year.
Festival. So before we get into the way and a little quick warm-up, we've been asking everybody all week, New Year's resolutions. 1, do you make them? 2, if you do, are you happy to share what they might be for your year?
Glenn?
I think it's going to be a repeat of what's been the constant theme every year, to be present, to live in the moment.
Is that your usual New Year's resolution?
That's one thing I'm working on.
Is it an ongoing process of work? It's an ongoing work in progress?
To be present, yes.
All right, fair enough. I get it.
It's very hard.
It's not easy to be present.
I find it hard because I have so many things going on in my head at the same time.
The lizard brain, you have different to-do lists that are open.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to make the most of each moment as the day goes by.
Do you have any tricks to kind of keep you present in the moment?
To keep reminding myself to be aware.
All right.
To be aware of what's going on at every single moment, and to try and allow things that might distract me to be there whilst I'm focusing on this.
Do you have that? Because it takes a bit of a strength to kind of go, this has to wait.
Yes.
That could be a person. That could be a child.
Absolutely.
It could be a parent.
It could be a phone.
It could be a phone.
It could be an email.
Hard one. Yeah. That ping goes off and your brain goes, ah!
I take off the ping.
Hide the phone, turn it upside down.
Exactly.
Keep it on silent.
Keep it on silent, keep it on airplane mode. It's off. There's a time for everything, I keep telling people.
Have you gotten better over the years?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
So
you are actually making progress.
Work in progress.
Work in progress. Is there? I got it because I have very similar kind of goals that I've set for myself of distraction. We had a show on digital detox, and it's like
I heard it. It was amazing.
Oh, good, Maribel.
It's
She's great.
Absolutely amazing. I mean, I just thought, oh my goodness, it is so relevant.
Yeah, it is.
It's so relevant to so many people who don't realize how relevant it is.
That's the scary part, right? Because so people are kind of lost in that haze, right?
So yeah,
it's a wild one.
Exactly. So
yeah, no,
but I really enjoyed that. I really.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear. Is there a time of day though you find it to be more distracting than others?
No, the whole day.
No, this is true. Mess.
I'm a complete mess.
All right, at least you can acknowledge it. Right?
Oh yeah. So,
all right.
And it's just because I'm trying to be there for as many people and
yeah, of course,
opportunities as possible.
We all feel like we have like an obligation, and especially if you're a creative, because you're in that creative space, and
precisely
creative space doesn't need blocks; it kind of needs freedom, right?
Exactly.
That also means things come in that you don't distract you.
The best thing I find now is writing down lists. As things coming to my head,
you write it down.
I write it down. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
If it's something that needs to be done, it's written down, so I don't have to remember it.
Yes.
And then so I can
Absolutely.
be present.
I love it. No, I love that because it's such a valuable. So everyone has these little tricks. I love hearing people's tricks. I want to know, can I copy that? Can I steal that trick? I use that one. Write down what I use.
Just write down. And once it's done, it's crossed out. It's literally deleted.
A hint, my pen is my other one, funny enough. If I'm holding my pen, I'm in this zone. Once my pen goes down, my brain kind of goes off in the Never Never Land.
I see.
And so I'll always hear me and I'm doing this thing, but it doesn't mean I'm distracted by it.
Yeah.
It's my way of staying
Present.
This is my zone. And this is like my wand or my weapon, right? I'm the wizard, and
Yeah.
anyhow,
I like
completely side angle conversation, but that's the I love the New Year's resolution. Or yes,
I think you guys, you're too complicated. I keep it simple. My resolutions are for January, and after that, I just go with the flow. That's it.
what were your resolutions for January?
Oh, so
Was there a list, or was it be like Glenn?
I have no, I can't be like Glenn. When it was my birthday in July, and my kids were asking, "What do you want?" I said, "Peace and quiet." And they took care of that day to be so noisy. So this is all I want. This is my resolution for this month: peace and quiet. If I can do my
Amen.
part, that's it.
Says
that
the
would
guy
be great.
organizing a music festival.
Yeah, I know. If
I
it
think
will
there's
be
a bit of
peace and
oxymoron in
quiet,
there.
I will be able to put things in place faster than usually. So peace. This is
Fine,
all
a
I
little more
need.
peace.
Yeah, it was a very intense 2023.
Sure.
I was able to have a bit of break at the end of the year after the last concert on
Sure.
22nd.
Mhm.
So from 22nd up to today, because next week we have a concert.
Yes.
Let's say I was able to breathe a bit.
Good.
And
Good for
now it's back in business.
Now you're trying to fight for that extra 15, 20 minutes a day of.
Oh,
Relaxation.
15, 20 minutes.
You're like, oh, that's a luxury, man.
That's a luxury, yes.
I get 30
since,
seconds.
since morning till now, this is the third meeting.
Wow.
And the phone I had to put on silent because there are two more to come.
If you want, we have the music booth back here, or the sound booth. You can just sit in there for the rest of the show. Glenn and I will tackle it. You can have 30 minutes of complete. It's a quiet room. It's got all the sound padding in there.
I might fall asleep and then
I love. You know what? I think it's very valuable because I think some people did have busy years, and it's constantly the noise, the phones. There's constantly distractions. So that peace of quiet is what should be
Absolutely.
more normal. Is far more of a luxury, right? I don't know how we did it to ourselves, but we actually did it to ourselves.
I agree.
That's the crazy part. Anyhow, you're here to talk about Arts Festival.
yes.
Let's get to it. So we have, it's already here. I guess it was like yesterday we had Alexandra Whittingham here, and
Yes.
we're back at it again. And she was great last year, by the way.
She was amazing.
Yeah.
you.
So you have a recital next week.
Well, we are celebrating 20 years of Cayman Arts Festival.
20
in
years.
2024.
Look at the faces. Like, look at the glow in the face, right?
Yeah, we are young. We are
it's a
young.
20 years young.
Yes, it's a very young festival. And we survived.
Yeah. But you're showing your ages, by the way. You say that. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah. You're like, oh, yeah. But 20 years. That's it.
I'm 24, as you know.
But when you think about like 20 years to accomplish, to see the growth you've had in 20 years is one thing. To make it to 20 years, right? But you have the youth programs, you have the fest, you have events throughout the years. And it's such a sophisticated level. Not that every event doesn't have some level of sophistication, but there's a degree of the organization, the energy behind your events that's continued. Haven't seen it myself over the past 8 years, and where it was, where it is, going through COVID, going into the movie theater at one point. Like, you have gone through an evolution, and you're still going.
That's absolutely right. I think the key thing for us is now how things have evolved. Initially, we started off 20 years ago having every 2 years having an event, a big sort of group of events over 2 weeks to 10 days to 2 weeks, and that was this huge frenzy, and then nothing for another 2 years, and then something else. And
Yes.
of course, you'd spend the time in between getting ready for that. But what's been really special has been the fact that out of this has emerged these educational programs, which is really what the festival was set up to do, to educate, to inspire. And initially, the events were being used to educate the students through master classes, but now we've actually got a situation where we've got established programs that are now some of them in their infancy, some of them in their sort of mid phase in terms of development. And the great thing is that now that's driving what we choose for our events, if that makes any sense.
Yes,
For
no,
example,
absolutely,
if we're going to have, an event, to do with strings, it's only because we feel that the strings need that bit of enrichment. There's the string students.
Those students are actually growing in there.
And that's exactly, we were just talking before the whole show about how we've just acquired 52 guitars, and then this guitar program is about to take flight. But then it's going to guide us as to the sorts of artists to come down here to work with the students, and that obviously will be linked to an event itself.
Yes.
So a lot of the events are, again, very youth focused, in terms of the people performing, in terms of the people who would like to come and see these particular events, only because I feel that's how you grow something that's residual and lasting in a community. It's nice for people to move to Cayman and be already established performers and live here. Then after a few years they leave and go somewhere else, and then all of a sudden it's all gone,
Yes.
Whereas when somebody has grown up here, this is home. This is the only home they know. It stays. It just stays here without you doing anything more than just giving them the opportunity. And that's, for me, where I can see the biggest progress in terms of how the community has benefited from a lot of the work that's gone on over the years. So that's what we're here to celebrate this year.
I love it. It's a good way to start the year off. Yeah. On that note, let's go to our commercial break. When we come back, let's dive more into the 20-year history of the Arts Festival.
Yes.
Back with more talk today, right after this.
Are you planning a social, an office party, or event over the holiday season? Make the most of your holiday party and leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway Box to Go, with the option of a 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. Cater your holiday parties with Subway. Visit subway.ky for menu options. Subway, eat fresh.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Start your day in the know. Don't miss a beat. Radio Cayman's 7 a.m. news keeps you informed every Monday through Saturday at 7 a.m. Brought to you by Cayman National, proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Pleased to have in studio from the Cayman Arts Festival, Mr. Marius Gaina and Mr. Glenn Anaga, here talking about, the success of 20 years of the Arts Festival being in Cayman, and the upcoming festival itself with the recital next week.
Yes, so the recital next week is something I'm very excited about. Early in the year, we are getting so starting off with a bang. It's going to be at the Harkwell Theatre. There's a new pianist who's recently moved to Cayman to work at Cayman Music School. Her name is Hannah Shen. She performed in our piano festival actually a month after she got here in October. She's a wonderful pianist. And when I heard she was coming, I said to her, hey, after her concert, I said, would you like to do something together? Because I like collaborating with lots of different artists. Would you mind sharing the stage? And she said, yeah, absolutely. And so we're playing some piano duets. Wonderful, wonderful repertoire. Some masterpieces in there, some wonderful crowd pleasers as well. And it'll be at the Harkwell Theatre. It would normally have this event at the library, but because the library is out of commission for the event that we normally would have there, it's being held at the Harkwell Theatre. So we can accommodate even more people.
Accommodate more people.
Exactly. And they've got a new piano that's wonderful there as well.
That's my next question. Like,
yes.
How do
they've just
their own piano?
They've just acquired they had a piano there before, but the piano there had sustained damage in Hurricane Ivan, and it's never really been brought back to what it was before. So it's always been, for me, something that I've always wished could be sort of upgraded or repaired or brought to the standard to give the whole, a bit more of an opportunity to have events like the ones we like to have there on Thursday. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's a nice piano, and we're going to be doing duets. I'm sometimes going to play at the top part of the piano, other times I'll play at the bottom part of the piano, and we're playing works by Mozart, by Schubert, and by Rossini. And again, these are great pieces. The concert starts at 6, ends at 7, perfect for kids to come. My daughter will be there as well. It's actually her birthday. They'll be coming there. They'll basically be able to come, and by 7 o'clock you're leaving the hall to go home.
No, not home. If you remember, we have a deal with a restaurant.
Of course, yeah.
And they can go to eat
Casanova's.
20% off if they come to our concert.
That's it.
On that night.
Yes. That's true.
So that's
a nice little segue.
Yeah,
So your daughter's getting Casanova's for her birthday.
She loves going there.
I know.
Yeah, they do the best stuff.
But the best part for me is that this time, talking about pianos, I don't need to move our piano. That
was my question. Like, how do you move your piano around? You have to.
We have a really good team at Miracle Brokers
or
IMP, and they take care of this. But believe me, I'm getting older. Every time when I see that they move it, it's a scary part.
Yes, going through the roof, right?
So
please don't.
This is a joke. Actually, it's real, but it sounds like a joke. I received one time an email. So I think they were thinking of Glenn, but they were using my name. And they said, Marius, we really want to see you in a concert. I know that you are a great pianist and so on. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So I said, the only connection with the piano is when I'm moving it. So that's not for me. So that's the closest that I can come to a piano to play when I'm moving it. Actually, it's not close. Even me. It's the
At least you're getting closer, right? You can see you're there to.
Yes, that piano is my baby. I'm clean it. I keep it tight all the time. I'm going to the library all the time to see some is still there. I'm just kidding, but
no, you're not.
Yeah, it's.
I can see you actually shining that thing down, going.
Actually, yes. Yeah. Actually, yes. I do that one.
Yeah. But you have to. You have to treat your instruments the way in that capacity. You have to talk to your instruments. You have to keep them shining and playing.
It's really amazing. It's interesting you bring up this point because the piano we had that we acquired that's now in the library, the Shigeru Kawai, was an instrument we wanted to have to be of a certain quality so we could invite certain artists here to perform. And the interesting thing, we had Damat who came.
Yeah, I was thinking of him. Yeah.
He was shocked that anything of this caliber was available publicly in the Cayman Islands. He wasn't expecting, not that he didn't have any expectations anyway, full stop, but I mean, he was just amazed by this instrument that he could do so much with because he's a wonderful pianist.
Yeah. So he did extra practice just to play that piano. Said, I don't want to miss this.
And it's wonderful.
I'll keep you there.
I think that's totally wild.
Great. So when you sit there listening to a pianist who's loving performing on the instrument because they can do so many things with the instrument and being such a master of the play of the keyboard, I sat there thinking, this is why we have the option of being able to have this, and then people in the community can enjoy enjoy how beautiful some of this music can sound just because the instrument is up to the task. And sometimes the instrument is not up to the task, no matter how good you're trying to play, it just can't do it. But this is a wonderful opportunity to have that.
I haven't reached that level of musical talent yet where the instrument has not measured up to what I can do. I'm not there yet. I'm probably where Marius is, or not far.
In addition to this, in October last year, we brought a piano on Cayman Brack. We purchased one.
I recall this. We had you in the studio. You had mentioned this last year.
Yeah.
So how is that working out?
It's amazing.
It's there.
It's
fine.
the name of
Used
Scott
and-
High School.
Yeah.
It's
That's
for them
being
to
used.
use as much as they want.
I remember when their music teacher was in an event I met her, yeah.
It's just they have it there whenever they need to use it. But then, if we have an event in the Brack, we have
You
an
can have- you
instrument.
have an
It's an instrument. And
that we can have for art festival events. So
Sure.
Brack, residents can enjoy
Yeah.
what Grand Cayman residents enjoy whenever we have
Absolutely.
events. So that's
Are
the
you
idea.
are the kids warming up to the piano? Are you getting more piano players theoretically even trying it out? Piano's not for everyone. It is a hard. And I take that back. It's not hard. It takes. I found when I was a kid playing, it took a lot more practice on the piano than it did on the trumpet to accomplish the same, what I would consider quality music. I was able to belt out some decent tunes on the trumpet. Wouldn't have had that same level of luxury on the piano without
Oh, interesting.
the level of practice. But maybe it just wasn't my instrument.
My brother had the same issue.
See,
Trumpet
I'm not.
versus piano.
Yeah.
Started off with piano, discovered the trumpet at age 13. Just
Yeah, I can sit at the desk and do this,
and he
or
used-
I can just belt as loud as I can until it makes sense.
and he said the same as exactly what you said.
Yeah, it made a lot more sense. And then the other thing was you get to make, because I started the trumpet at 11 or 12, and you're actually blowing into the little mouthpiece.
mouthpiece,
And you get to make funny noises, and it's cool. Whereas at the piano, you just sit back straight. You can't hunch over, or your music teacher gets mad at you, and I don't know, it was an interesting little way of.
You're absolutely right.
But so are you finding the reception in the Brack? Has there been? It's still new. It's only a
It's
year
still
old.
very new. No, it's only September since.
Oh,
Yeah, there are just a few months, and then November, December hit.
Sure.
And I was talking with Glenn 2 days ago. Like we
Have our
start
first events in there.
to kind of pencil a schedule,
Very nice.
set of events that we can do there, not with him and others too. For me, the scary part is the flight. I can't handle small planes.
The piano
but,
made it. If the
the
piano made
piano went there actually with the barge. So because we tried with the plane and they said that might be too difficult
Yeah.
to put this huge.
So the small planes aren't your cup of tea,
No.
or any planes.
No, the small ones.
Oh, I mean, they have the bigger planes. You have the jets. You have the Saab.
I had to take a pill to be sure that I'm not facing those 15 minutes when we've been there to.
No,
to
I
set
mean
up
everyone
the
has
piano.
their. I've heard the
But
similar.
I will go over this. We'll have maybe, I don't know, every 2-3 months we'll have an event there till
That's
start building up.
When you look at the events that you're going to do in the Brack, and I grant that you're still in the infancy of trying to plan this out, are you looking at your entire ensemble of instruments, or are you going to do like similar of one kind of batch at a time, where you go over and implement and introduce the different sounds?
First, I mean, it's easy if we have a piano recital. It's easy for me just to go with one pianist there.
Sure.
We'll have a set of volunteers that will help me there, and it's easy to put. But we have, Glenn was mentioning about after school program, we have a set of kids that they love to go there to perform for the students that they are in the Brack.
Yeah.
We try to build up a program there. They have. At least this is what I know. I know 2 music teachers really good that I already have a WhatsApp chat with them to see what we can do and how we can start some programs there.
That's awesome.
We might have some funds, instruments, and they just
Absolutely.
have to focus on that. The same way how we do it here. I
Yeah,
think we will have the capacity now to
definitely.
do it, and we start showing interest. We have the capacity, we have the time, have the
You have the
potential now.
instruments. Yeah, there's been an
that we
investment
can.
of
I
instruments.
mean,
now.
we're talking about 52 guitars.
I
Yes,
know,
maybe
that's-
some of them might go there.
That'd
We
be
just
great,
need to
yeah.
find the right person to teach there. This is a good problem when you start
it's a good
looking
problem
for.
to have, and I will say that's such an important criteria, because I've seen this in the sports world. I've seen it in the music world. I'm not going to say any business or organizations, but I've seen it where it only takes one, not necessarily bad teacher, unenthusiastic, unmotivated,
Yeah,
one bad
somebody-
instructor
yes.
can ruin a program and take 10 kids completely out of the music scene like that.
Yes.
One bad energy professor, and that's why I said you have to find the right fit.
Yes,
and
that's
one
correct.
who's willing to invest that energy. You see it in the sports world a lot, because you have a lot more coaches, right? You have a lot of teams and coaches. It takes one bad coach to take down an entire team, which brings down the entire program, and we've seen it across so many different sports. And so I think you're right. You have to find that right teacher, and it's a good problem to have. You're at a point where you have the investment in instruments, you have a welcoming demand for students that want this program. Jubilati's got 90 kids now. You have had this program 20 years going. The music program.
We have about 300.
Gray's, yeah, you get 300 kids. John Gray's has their the new facilities. Everything is kind of being built up. Look at the investments being made financially into this.
That's correct.
Getting those teachers in is that glue that will keep it. And what you'll have is 10 years from now, 20 years from now, when you hit your 40th anniversary, you're going to have how many students performing at such an elite level.
I'll tell you what else that we will have in 20 years. You will not speak with me because I might be staying on the beach and relaxing. You'll have some students that will be in this program. And we had a documentary that we launched in 2020, right before the pandemic.
Yes.
And we were discussing, okay, how do you see the future? And each of us were saying, for me, I wanted to close the circle in the after-school program to the students that they are in the program to come back as teachers and take control over this, what we do here.
I love that.
And develop how they do it. And guess what? We start training some of them. They're already in universities in US, in UK.
Absolutely.
And when they come back, said, okay, now you start getting some responsibilities in what you do here.
I love it.
You can have some kids that you teach them. You can have a program. You can start working with the quartet and build up. And we'll have funds for this to not only just to do not be a volunteer, to feel that I'm part of this. So in 20 years, who will be here?
Who will do this? That you're going to find some relaxation time in 20 years.
I will have some relaxation time with somebody else. I will be the senior.
On that note, we do have to go to commercial break, and we do have one caller on the line. More talk today right after this.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Jingle all the way into the season of incredible savings and wish granting with Digicel. This Christmas, get 25% off your Prime Bundle plan or postpaid bill for the next 6 months. With plans featuring social data, entertainment data, and more, Digicel keeps you connected and entertained all season long. But here's the real magic. Digicel could make your Christmas wish come true. Win a prize of your choice, from getting your rent paid to a new laptop or even a brand new car. Visit a Digicel store today, where dreams come true this holiday season.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles until December 31st, 2023. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
The new KFC nuggets have arrived. That, unlike the no-gets, ours are handmade using 100% white meat, unlike the no-gets. At KFC, we hand-bread every day to achieve the perfect flavor. After you try our delicious and crispy nuggets in the original recipe, you'll never settle for less. KFC, the real nuggets. It's finger-licking good.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise its customers that its customer portal and online payment platform will be down from 3 p.m. on Friday, January 5th to facilitate a system upgrade. The new and improved portal and payment page will be live for customers at 9 a.m. on Monday, 8th January. Existing customer portal users will receive direct communication from the authority with instructions on accessing the new system. New users will be able to learn how to sign up for the new system by visiting our website www.waterauthority.ky on Monday, 8th January.
The Ministry of Education invites all eligible Caymanians to apply for its overseas scholarship for the 2024-2025 academic year. To apply for an overseas scholarship or learn more about the various scholarship offerings, please visit the Scholarship Secretariat Unit's online scholarship application portal at www.moescholarships.gov.ky. Applications close on Wednesday, 31st of January, 2024.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. In studio, we have Mr. Marius and Mr. Glenn from the Cayman Arts Festival. And we do have one caller on the line. Good afternoon, caller. Thank you for calling Talk Today.
Good afternoon, and congratulations to Cayman Arts Festival 20 years.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
And I suppose you remember the first day you came into Radio Cayman.
Yes, Mr. Luxley.
Yeah, you all have come a long way.
And we can't thank Radio Cayman enough for the opportunities to spread the word. I mean, it was amazing when you sat there in the seat interviewing us. So we are so delighted. We are so pleased to see how the community has really, as they say, it takes a community to raise and something like this. And that's exactly what has happened. And that's one thing we're most proud of.
Oh, well, I think Radio Cayman has been there.
From beginning, day one. From day zero.
Yeah, 99 and 4,700%. Sure. Thanks for your support. So, I just have one suggestion. Since it's the 20th anniversary, I believe that you're familiar with Cayman's, some of Cayman's indigenous music and their connection with the sea.
Yes.
Okay. And I think for the 20th anniversary, before all of those guys have gone on, there's still some of them, around who were excellent musicians and who actually, in the early days, performed with some of the earlier bands here in Cayman. And this would go back, 70 years. Captain Crosby, still around.
Wow.
And, of course, you got Rupert Ackerman and some of the more recent guys. I guess I'll call Andy Martin recent, but I guess you can't call me young anymore. But anyway, but I think if somewhere in that 20th anniversary window that you put in and probably do it at the Harquail, a concert featuring these guys that would still come out. And I'm sure you can still get probably Andy out and Percy Worms and Rupert will be there, and I think Captain Crosby probably would come out, and there are probably half a dozen other ones.
That's amazing.
That's a brilliant idea.
Thanks. That's an amazing idea. I think we'll definitely take it on board.
Well, yeah, I think you should. 20th anniversary,
Can Mr. Banks join that lineup? See, if you're going to call and put yourself on the line, I'm going to have to ask the question, right? Because I know there's a musical bone in your body. You are a musician yourself, songwriter. Oh, I just called him out live on the radio, right? I might get in some trouble right now.
I'll let you all go, but good. Congratulations again. And
thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for your idea. We'll have to take into consideration.
Definitely doing it.
Mr. Banks, thank you so much for the call. We appreciate it. Thank you again. That's a great idea. I
love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, the level of... Because they were the performers that, started the show, right? They were, back in the day, they were the ones lighting up the corners, the houses, the house parties, and we didn't have jukebox. Well, I guess they had jukeboxes at some point, but
it's a great opportunity, I think. I mean, I've always said that this arts festival is always, I think, a reflection of what I see in the community and what the community would like to see. And it's only through suggestions like these that you begin to see some of the events that people come out and see happening at the festival.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, there's certain festival events, I haven't chosen the event. Someone has made a suggestion and said, hey, this is what I'd like to see. And we say, right, let's make it happen.
Brilliant idea.
And it works.
Bringing
and it's relevant.
The singers and bringing some of your students together. You have, not necessarily play together, but a performance that has the mix of age demographics. I think that's a brilliant.
That's a brilliant
the
idea.
optics of it look cool when you think about it, right?
I think it's
grandkids, the grandparents playing together. I love it. I love that idea.
It's happening.
I saw recently, I think it was in October or November, the folk singers.
Yes.
They had Under the Breadfruit Tree. I think it was the concert.
Yeah.
Amazing production.
Oh,
I was thinking while I had my kids with me, they stayed till the end, which was 9 o'clock, which is a bit late for them, but they were staying there. And I was thinking this type of production should be, it's a forcing saying this, mandatory for schools to bring them to see this show. Only that show.
I agree with you.
That should. It was amazing.
It is.
I mean, like, not necessarily that I was not expecting that quality, but the way how it was produced, I was like, wow, this is. And I knew some of them, and they are also planning to have their own educational program. I don't want to go into details because I'm not entitled to say that, but I know that they are also want to. This is great. This is how you keep this type of ideas, this type of productions. Doesn't have to be Cayman Arts Festival necessarily. There are pockets all over that of culture that needs to stay on the market because they bring the identity of this place. They define the identity of this place.
There's quite a number of the folk singers I know are avid listeners of Talk Today and would likely have heard your comic just now. And I think you just put a great smile on their face because they're right. You are absolutely correct. We couldn't get to it because the timing of the show, Under the Breadfruit Tree, just clashed with another event we had. But we really wanted to go. Like, I wanted to see that level of it because, one, I love the name of it. I thought the name itself was like, that's a really, how simple of a name. And it hasn't been used like in that capacity before, right? And I just thought it was a brilliant. So I'm glad it did work out, and I agree with you. I think there should be a level of school instruction. All those individuals are working individuals as well. So I can't imagine their schedules a whole lot. Quite a number of civil servants as well. So I imagine they're quite busy as well. But I think you're absolutely correct. And anyway, we have about 3 minutes left in the show. Bring us back to next week's event, how people can register, and a little bit of a hint on what we can look forward to in February with the big show.
I will just mention that for next week, as Glenn mentioned, the event will be on Thursday, 6 to 7 o'clock, Harkwell. Tickets at the door, same price if you want to buy them online or at the door. We don't change that one.
And how much are tickets?
There are 20 CIs. If they go online, there will be, because we sell on a US platform, it will be $25 US, just to kind of keep that on. And for students, it will be $10 US and probably 10 CIs, just to kind of don't kill my volunteers with the exchange funds and so on. And for, this is next week. This is our buzz for the festival that will happen in February, second part. Glenn might wants to say more about the structure of the festival this year because he wanted to bring back the memories from 2004. So we have some performers that they were part of the first festival and they will be here again and try to see
that the first back?
Yes. So the first week of the festival, there will be 2 weeks. We start on 18th of February. We finish on 2nd of March. First week up to Thursday, from Sunday 18th up to Thursday 22nd. Every day will be something, every evening in various places. We will announce soon all of this. That will bring you back to 2004 when you were 20 years younger. Let's say. Let's do that. Let's say in that way.
Not sure if anybody feel like hurt right now, or proud, or what. Mixed emotions. 20 years ago, think about
And then second part, we will have performers that they were here before. We try to keep the festival as a family. We brought people that they helped us in the past. They continue helping us. So it was nice to have this like a family celebration. So this is how I see it. Now Glenn might develop more on this.
All right. It's a wonderful reunion. Okay. And looking to the past and looking to the present and also what the future is going to look like. So we have some of our really wonderful rising stars who are coming through our programs who are going to be performing alongside some of the people who were performing 20 years ago.
That's exactly it.
That's
two generations coming together.
Exactly.
I love it.
And that's what's the flavor of what to expect. amazing events, very exciting, lots of young, wonderful performers as well, playing as in kids performing, but wonderful kids, wonderful professionals coming who've been in the past, and it's just going to be really, really dynamic. So watch this space. You can go on Facebook as well and get lots more.
Yes, soon we'll be on social media. This is one of the weaknesses that we face all the time, and it could be our issue too, finding venues. And sometimes I need to wait till the last second to be sure that I booked certain venues. So that's why I'm waiting to be sure that everything is secure before starting advertising, to do not give false information.
And you don't want to have to change things on
yes.
People get mistaken.
So soon will be social media, our website. Here again,
all the commercials on
we'll bring performers here, so people will hear from them what they plan to do for us.
Marius,
thank you so much.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. And I want to say again to Mr. Banks for calling with that suggestion. I think that suggestion was just absolutely brilliant.
Thank you, yes.
On that note, we do need to go to our 1 p.m. headline news. When we come back, we'll be sitting down with the Family Resource Center discussing their first quarter programs. Gentlemen, thank you again, and all the best with
Thank you, Radio Cayman.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Back more Talk Today right after this.
Follow Radio Cayman on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio Cayman. Information to the people. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
Brought to you by Health Services Authority.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Health Services Authority is advising the public that the Faith Hospital Dental Clinic will be closed from Friday, January 5th and Monday, January 8th for facility upgrades. During this period, all patients with dental emergencies should visit Faith Hospital's Accident and Emergency Department. Normal dental clinic operations will resume on Tuesday, January 9th. In international news, a student shot 6 people, one of them fatally, at a high school in the U.S. state of Iowa before taking his own life on the first day back from holiday break, police said. A pretty rudimentary improvised explosive device was found by investigators at Perry High School, police said, and rendered safe. 5 of those shot were students, and 1 is a school administrator. The student that died was in the 6th grade. Paralympian Oscar Pistorius has been freed on parole from a South African jail nearly 11 years after murdering his girlfriend Riva Steenkamp. Officials confirmed Pistorius was at home on Friday morning, having served half of his more than 13-year sentence. Pistorius, now 37, shot Ms. Steenkamp multiple times in 2013 through a door. The double amputee later claimed he had mistaken her for a burglar. Pistorius was eventually convicted of murder in 2015 after an appeal court overturned an earlier verdict of culpable homicide or manslaughter. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Brought to you by Health Services Authority.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands. Captain Keith Parker Tibbetts, MBE, JP. Captain Keith Parker Tibbetts, MBE, JP, was born at Cotton Tree Bay, Cayman on October 15, 1916, to James Nathaniel Tibbetts and Elsie Huldah Tibbetts, nee Hunter. He was a man of many talents, from shipbuilding, seafaring, a military career, a prosperous entrepreneur, and many decades of service to the people of Cayman Brac and the Cayman Islands as a whole. After serving as a member of the lawmaking body known as the Vestry from 1946 to 1968. He represented the Cayman Islands at the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association in Trinidad in 1968 and again in 1978. In 1969, he was appointed a JP. Then in 1976, he was elected to the Legislative Assembly for a 4-year term. Notably, the Cayman Brac representative petitioned the Legislative Assembly with names of over 400 Cayman Brackers, stating they wished to remain a crown colony rather than follow Jamaica's route of independence. In 1977, he represented the Cayman Islands at the Queen's Silver Jubilee in London. In 1988, he was made a member of the Order of the British Empire, MBE, among numerous other community awards, and served with many groups from Ebenezer Baptist Church to Education Councils, Veterans and Seamen's Society, CUC, and the Rotary Club of Cayman Brac. As a testimony of his contributions to his community and connection to sea and tourism, in 1996, shortly after his passing, a Russian destroyer was renamed the MV Captain Tibbets in his honor and sunk in Cayman Brac waters by the Cayman Islands government to become a popular dive site. After a long and distinguished life of service to his community, he passed away on March 10, 1996. He was married to the late Hilary Elizabeth Marjorie Tibbets, and together they had 5 children. This was part 7 of a special Sister Islands vignette series dedicated to Captain Keith Parker Tibbets.
I'll be back. I've got 22 more days.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land. Explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Was pleased just now to have in the studio the Cayman Arts Festival, something that Radio Cayman has been a strong supporter of for, as Mr. Banks said, for 20 years. But now in studio, we have from the Family Resource Center, Mr. Andre Bailey. Mr. Andre, welcome back to Talk Today. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Raymond. Thank you for having me.
How's life? What's going on?
It's been good. I went home for the holidays, so it was very, very good.
Nice.
Spending some time with family and so on,
family,
and coming back for work. So it's good. I'm feeling refreshed.
You're feeling refreshed.
And ready to go.
You're ready to tackle 2024.
Tackle.
All
right, fine. Yes, we'll tackle.
We're going to choose language today that fits this show.
So it's a fight. 2024 is a fight.
Well, is it a fight? No, it's a game.
It's a game.
It's like a game of football.
All right.
It's not that you're fighting.
It's a good analogy.
You're playing the game.
We're playing the game.
Someone's trying to steal your ball. Mm-hmm. Not really, but someone's after the same whatever it might be that you might be after, whatever it is that you're pursuing this year.
Yes. And we do have a lot happening this year.
There's a lot. Yeah. Yes. You guys have a ton going on. So before we get started, we've been asking everybody else, New Year's resolutions. What's yours? Any? Do you make resolutions?
I do make resolutions.
All right. Do you stick with them?
Half year. They last till about May. And
that's
then
not bad.
They
that's
fade away.
Far better than the average. It's usually like January 5th today. And then people are like, wait, it's Friday.
Yes, Friday.
Do I really want to stick to this nutrition?
Do I want to go to happy hour?
Do I want to go to happy hour? It's first Friday of the year.
Yeah.
But so what were your resolutions for this year?
No, well, this year I'm going to be intentional about practicing my self-care, which includes a lot of trips this year. So I have 3 trips lined up.
Travel is part of it.
Travel is I've been promising myself to do it, and I haven't done it for a few years now. This year I'm going to be intentional about where I go and experience something new. And
is it just new, or is there something like you want to see mountains, you want to see go dive?
All right. My
You don't have to go.
No,
through
it's
it.
fine.
Yeah.
It's shareable. My bucket list is the 7 wonders of the world.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah,
that's big.
So I'm aiming for 2 this year.
All right.
Yeah.
What are the 7 wonders of the world? Pyramids.
Pyramids and places like, all right, so there's a pyramid in Peru.
Yes.
Machu Picchu. There
There's
is
another.
Chichen Itza in Mexico.
Yeah.
There's a Great Wall of China. There's a Colosseum in Rome.
Yes.
There is Christ the Redeemer in Brazil. There is the Wall in Perth. And there's one more.
Weren't there? I remember back in the day there was the Gardens of something.
Yeah,
The Gardens of
no,
Babylon.
all right, so
those are the old ancient ones of
and
the world.
the 7th one is the Taj Mahal in India.
Sure. Oh, I know.
Yeah, so they call these the 7 modern wonders of the world.
So which are the ones that you're going to tackle this
Tackle
year?
this year, South America. So it will be
All right.
Machu
You
Picchu
got Machu Picchu.
and Christ the Redeemer in Peru and Brazil.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah, no, a lot of ancient history in there.
Yeah.
There's a
for
ton
sure.
of history. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, like back in the day, like the conquistadors would go through there for their gold, and
Yeah.
the Indiana Jones movie apparently looking for alien skulls.
Exactly. The lost treasure, right?
So self-care is the travel. Is that the one element you're focusing on?
Is the one element I'm focusing on. I want to also do something academic for the year.
Good for you.
Yeah. So I've been also promising myself to do that, and I just keep putting it off. So this year, definitely, I'm going to do something, some sort of a certification of some kind.
All right.
And that's for me, for 2024.
But that's very powerful. I mean, that's a really, everyone has their own different, whatever it might be in, right? And at the end of the day, it is about self. Our resolutions usually aren't about other people. They're about
yourself.
Even if you say you want to volunteer more, it's because you want to give back, right?
Yeah.
So it's only about what you want to do, right? So
And then some things I already do. So people is like, oh, I want to live more healthily and, I want to volunteer. I mean, I already volunteer. I already try to eat well. I already try to exercise. I already try to play some sports.
Yeah, you put some of those already on you built them into your habits, and now you're expanding on new habits.
Exactly. So
everyone's at a different place in their journey. It's not about anybody competing with, he's doing this, or it's everyone has their own. And I like hearing people's resolutions and like how they go about doing it.
Yeah.
Because I think this self-development is such an important thing. Like every day you should be striving to be better than yesterday.
To be better.
Not better than your neighbor. Doesn't matter if your neighbor drives a Porsche.
Yourself, right?
It's, are you better today than you were yesterday? And so on New Year's resolutions, it's always, how am I better this year than I was last year? Did I exercise more? Did I read more? Whatever it was, right? And I always like trying to find something new to kind of pull at. So during the last show, Glenn had mentioned his was to be more present.
Yeah.
But that's a powerful resolution. That's a huge. It's such a hard. It's probably one of the hardest resolutions to do.
That is
probably harder than fitness. Is to stay present in the moment.
Every time.
And not get distracted by every stream of consciousness thought that flows through your head.
It's deep.
It's hard because it is. It's a challenge. You're in your field. You have to communicate with people on a regular basis. You have to be in that moment with that person, living that moment with that person.
Yeah, every day.
It's part of that. It's part of your job.
It's part of the job.
If it's not your job, if your job's to just whatever
it is.
I mean, but give me an example. Yeah, and I'm not knocking the profession, but if your job's a police officer driving around, there are so many distractions. It is hard to zone in, right?
I'll tell you something, Raymond. I read something this morning. In my office, there is different quotes all around. And there's one of them, I went to a little workshop last year. And the presenter spoke about autopilot. And autopilot is just doing something without living in the moment.
Yeah.
You're just doing it because you do it. And it's funny now that you're talking about his resolution being present and being in the moment.
Taking off the autopilot, right?
Taking off the autopilot.
Yeah.
So that's very good. That's very interesting.
It's amazing how much we do throughout the day on autopilot. And some extremely dangerous things, too. People in the kitchen cooking. People driving vehicles. Like, you got people playing with fire, sharp knives. Electricity.
On autopilot.
On cars. Semi-trucks on complete autopilot, like because they're so programmed to do it, right? And it's amazing what the brain's capable of doing.
And the muscle memory and all of that.
Yeah, but it's still an amazing thing of how little present we are. And anyhow, it's always great. Thanks for sharing. I appreciate it.
Of course.
And good luck with the bucket list.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it will take a few years, but
it's a good one.
Starting 2 this year and then looking for the others in years to come.
I love it. All right, so let's jump into Family Resource Center. I know we
Yes.
talked with Anne-Marie last week, really topically about some of the programs. I wouldn't mind delving a little deeper into some of those programs today. We have a full hour, so we can definitely make sure we cover all the bases on these.
Yes.
So walk us through it. What do you got going on?
All right. So this year, the Family Resource Center, we're, as always, we're trying to respond to the needs of the community.
Sure.
Yes, we want to make sure that all our programming are purposeful, are targeted, are directed to the needs of what families want right now. And we understand the changes in society, and we understand the changes in people and their family structure and what they need and so on. So what we have done over the years to divide our program calendar in two sides, first 6 months and then the last 6 months. And so today we want to talk a little bit about what's happening now in immediate, in the first 6 months, the first quarter of this year, some of those programs that we're going to be having. The first one I'll talk about is understanding ADHD. We recognize and we have seen an increase in the number of parents who report their children having or being diagnosed with ADHD. And it's not necessarily a program that they can go to get on island, that is, to get a lot of information on in terms of a parenting perspective for ADHD specifically. There are a lot of entities and private entities that will work with the children with ADHD, but we want to make it accessible to the average Caymanian, the average resident on island, how to understand ADHD and then to parent a child who might be formally diagnosed with ADHD or even exhibiting symptoms of ADHD.
A couple questions here.
Yes.
On the ADHD, because your programs are where the community has asked for these programs. So you're seeing an increase in parents coming to you with their children being diagnosed. And so the question that kind of popped in my head was, is this a situation where, and granted, there's no clean answer to this question, but is there a situation here where you think this might be more along the lines of there's more parents who are recognizing issues and they're getting their child's diagnosed? Is a situation where you're seeing a higher, for some odd reason, society, there are more kids now with ADHD than there was, say, 20 years ago? Is it?
It's a mixture of both, as well as increase in services across the board. And I say that to refer to like educational institutions. They would be making the recommendations for parents too. They might recognize or observe something in the students in class. They might ask the parents to do an assessment or make some sort of recommendation for parents to get an opinion on what might be happening with their children, as well as awareness and increasing awareness in what to look for. Traditionally, certain display of behavior would just seen as children being rude or children just being disrespectful or kids being kids, as opposed to having difference in how their brain works and how it functions because they have ADHD. So I know there is a discussion on it on whether or not there is more ADHD now or it's just that people coming forward. We see it as a mixture of both, and we are appreciative of the awareness that parents have, as well as access to resources in terms of testing and being able to use the results given to seek services and to get assistance for their children.
It's interesting. Just having a background in that youth development circle, it's always one of those things that kind of throw through my head, right? Because 20 years ago when I started my sports coaching career, the rise of ADHD was just now starting. The conversation just started on what's going on. Is it the foods? Is it the processed foods? Is it the video games? What is causing this rise in ADHD? Is it just pharmaceutical firms who have changed the policy to medicate children? What is it that is actually driving the change? And there was all these conversations happening. And so when it comes to your workshops now, and the workshop, you're talking about dealing with parents. What is some of the information, what are some of the things that parents can actually learn from coming to your workshop? I know it's very simple to say, how to work with your child. But practically, what are they actually going to be doing so the parents understand this?
So the ADHD workshop is a virtual workshop. It's for 4 weeks. It's a lunchtime workshop. So during the day, it's on Mondays for 4 weeks. It starts next week, January 8th. And like I said, it's for 4 weeks. So parents would log on during lunchtime. It's a lunch and learn kind of virtual workshop, and it's only for an hour each session.
But is it a peer support group, or are they actually going to be learning tangible skills?
No, they're learning tangible skills.
Okay.
Good. So once they log on, each week takes them through, it builds on each other, first of all.
So you do have to register for all 4?
It's advised.
Okay.
Yeah. So that you do attend all 4. So the first week covers like what ADHD is. So parents can have a full understanding of what this diagnosis is. They might not have the full information about it. So it gives a breakdown of the brain and how the brain works and what's the difference between a child who experiences ADHD versus a child who doesn't. And the brain workings in the 2 different types, right? Okay. So the parents can understand that. The parents then get to understand how then the practical skills to parent a child who experiences this ADHD, as opposed to another child who doesn't. Or if it's just a single child, how do you as a parent now use these practical skills to make sure that you are externalizing certain things, to make sure that you are addressing the needs of your child who experiences ADHD? Certain parenting tips will be useful across the board, but then there are things that are specific to children who experience ADHD, and parents would need to understand this and able to implement those so as to cater specifically, almost like a bespoke parenting for children with ADHD.
And the 4-week program, you have a limit on people that can attend? Or
No.
Because it's virtual.
It's virtual, it's open. We can accommodate 100 people.
Okay.
It's virtual.
The next question I have to that, and because you are doing it virtually, and I appreciate that there's one of the strong disadvantages to virtual is the impersonal form of this type of program. But on the flip side of it, the major advantage I've always seen from these virtual seminars is they can be recorded and replayed later. Is this something that FRC is considering, where you would take that 4-week course and then put it together, pop it up on YouTube or whatever other medium, and allow parents to actually access this information outside of this 4-week block?
Not on YouTube,
Or
but
whichever
on
you
our
can.
website itself.
Okay,
on
so
the
on the-
FRC's
yes, okay.
website, you can access some of our online webinars. We do load them there after the fact.
Okay.
Because we do keep parents out of it in terms of names and faces for that reason.
Yes.
To protect confidentiality and so on. So you will see the presenter and the videos and so on. And after the fact, you could go on our website under our workshops.
Oh, great.
And be able to view it after the fact.
So even if parents, the disadvantage, they won't be able to ask the questions that they would in, say, the virtual workshop, but they would still have access to the course material and
itself, the
The presentation.
Parents who are unable to attend can also access it individually within office.
So they can come to you.
So they could come to us. They could come to us, and we would deliver it to them in person. As with all other services that we do offer, parents could come in office and have an individual done. Because we do understand that persons work, and they might not be able to get the time to do the lunch and learn, this virtual form of the workshop. So if they are interested, and we hope you are, please come and join us. Send an email, walk into office, and we'll assign a parenting practitioner who will be able to deliver this workshop in person.
And this question may actually not have the information to answer, but when it comes to teachers, there are teachers, and I appreciate teachers are trained in various disciplines.
Yes.
But when you have a teacher in a school, the skills that you're teaching, I'm assuming, could be applied to teachers as well, and how they. Cause we're talking about how to communicate to a child, right, and how to receive their communication.
So that is something that we have been discussing in office. How do we collaborate with the Ministry of Education to provide some sort of professional development with the teachers in the system, helping them with some of these skills? We do have at present a situation of going into school with our SNAP program, the Stop Now Plan program. So we do have that relationship with the ministry, and we are able to deliver SNAP different schools at different times based on need and so on. So we want to expand that for 2024 and beyond to deliver some of these very workshops, including child protection stuff and so on, across the board, for the teachers to help them to help their students in their classes.
Yeah, because the first response for a teacher when a child in some capacity, whether it acts up or doesn't respond the way, quote unquote, the other student would, is to discipline the child.
No,
right?
I mean, in schools, they do have SENCOs, at present. So there are persons within the school environment, special education persons, who are trained in ADHD and have more.
I prefer more to teachers having
Yes. But the idea is that these persons provide that support for the teachers within the classroom and its assistant teachers. And should it be needed, then the SENCOs are there to provide that support. But we'd want greater collaboration, right? It's never too late to be better at recognizing and knowing how to directly handle a situation of a child having a special education need.
Yeah, no, especially if there's other things within the school, whether it's the lunches, whether it's food, whatever it might be, that's whatever nutritional elements that are contributing to the fact, right?
And schools have gotten, the ministry overall, the Ministry of Education, and schools themselves, their administration, have gotten more sensitive, I don't want to use that word, to these presentations within children, and have made adjustments. We have seen adjustments in terms of what is allowed at school and what they sell, what they provide for the students, and what they can eat and cannot eat. And parents too, again, I talked to you about the awareness. Parents too, having gotten a diagnosis for children who do experience ADHD, having that awareness, have also been doing better.
Sure.
We have seen parents doing better and reaching out for additional support, which is why I'm saying answering to the needs of the community involves us having a workshop like this, because parents are saying, hey, Family Resource Center, I've now received a foreign diagnosis of this. Do you have any resources to help me to better parent my child who's experiencing ADHD?
Excellent. It sounds like you put the other end. It'd be great to see that, like I said, that workshop up on your website afterwards, so that teachers, parents, whoever is actually invested has an easy access.
And resources. We do provide resources too, because in putting together our programs, it's research-based, right? Of course. So we do provide resources for persons. We could direct, as a Family Resource Center, we do direct them to additional resources that they could do additional learning, some self-education, and so on, to better, because at the end of the day, we want our best interests for the children.
Love it.
Yes.
And
all right, so that starts next week, Monday, January 8th.
8th is already next week.
I know.
Man.
It's crazy.
When you said, I was like, hey, wait a sec, hold on.
We're literally still saying Happy New Year. And next week, Monday is the 8th of the month.
So I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I hit my helmet. Oh, my goodness.
So email us at frc@gov.ky. We will send you the or you could go on our website, frc.gov.ky, and register there, or send us an email, frc@gov.ky, and we will send you the registration link to register for this workshop and all the others that we're offering this quarter. And the next one is parenting children with anxious behaviors. That starts on Friday, January 19th.
All right, so this one's a bit of obviously it's within the realm of how parents can better communicate with their children and vice versa.
Yes.
How children go about being heard. So when we talk about anxious behaviors, because it's a word, people are going to understand that word very differently depending on their level of understanding of anxiety.
Yes.
So can you walk us through what you mean by anxious behaviors?
All right. There are
nail biting. Like I talk about like what are the actual things? Like when you say like what is an anxious behavior? Is it like whenever you ask a child a question they start crying? Is it whenever they
it presents differently in different
what
children.
are those behaviors that parents should be looking for if that's the case?
So you mentioned nail biting. It could very well be that it could be a situation of not wanting to do something, not wanting to participate in something, but there is no logical reason for not wanting to participate in it. There are children who run. We have children who are supposed to be engaging in something and they run away from it. There are children who break out in crying. There are children who they throw tantrums. There are children who withdraw, they clam up. So there are different presentations that's happening for children who experience any form of anxiety in a situation. Children sweat, children freeze. And we want to help parents to help their children in being able to regulate themselves, being able to be better at trying something, being better to participate in something, knowing that the parents are there to support them or whosoever else is within that activity. So it might be at school, it might be in sports, it might be at home, it might be at church or wherever they congregate for worship or of any form. Being able to enter that situation in a more calm, relaxed, regulated state, and then make a determination of whether or not they want to continue, whether or not they want to be a part of it.
All right, so 2 questions popped in my head. One is outside of just asking a child to breathe their way through that moment, which I'm sure is one of the topics you're going to talk about.
Yes.
What are the other kind of tips you would offer parents? And granted, you have a program for this, but like, what are some of the practical tips?
So within this program itself, we do teach regulation. So yes, self-regulating, and we teach co-regulating as well for the parents, because children have big emotions. They have emotions that they do not yet have the skills to handle these big emotions that they're experiencing. So in this program itself, in this workshop, we teach parents to recognize when their children are experiencing these big emotions and how to go about co-regulating with their children to calm themselves down and then make a good plan towards engaging in the activity. Also teaching the skills to the parents in order to teach it to their children, so that they're able to help their children to practice these on their own in a difficult situation when the parents are not around.
Good. Yeah. When we come back from the break, I wouldn't mind, because we have to go to our break in one moment here. I wouldn't mind tackling, because there's another side to that anxious behavior, and that is there's something else going on.
Yes.
And so while there's regulating that child's mindset and behavior in order to re-engage in an activity, there's also the side of that coin of being able to communicate with your child about, is there actually something going on?
So we talk about thinking errors. And so something is going on and they have a particular thought towards it. We help parents to recognize how the thoughts are linked to the feelings, and how those feelings are help or either hinder or cause to happen, the behaviors that result from that situation.
All right.
So that CBT relationship.
Okay. On that note, let's go to our 1:30 break. We come back, we'll continue our conversation with the Family Resource Center. Back with more Talk Today right after this.
They say variety is the spice of life. And that's why at Subway, we're introducing the new Boneless Hot Sub. Say what? The premium sub brings new ingredients like spicy breaded boneless chicken, French's crispy fried onions, and buffalo wing sauce, bringing a zesty and flavorful experience with every bite. Add some of your favorite veggies, cheese, and ranch sauce of your choice of freshly baked bread for the ultimate boneless hot sub. For a little spice in your life, try the new boneless hot sub from Subway.
So good and tasty.
And make it a meal with a drink and chips or cookies. Subway. Eat fresh.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I go and flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At Valley Med Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Boddentown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit Valley Med Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Live happy, live healthy with Valley Med Pharmacy.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drportercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
The 2023 Household Budget Survey is currently being conducted by the Economics and Statistics Office. The data collected from the survey will determine the items and the dollar value of these items that are included in the new Consumer Price Index basket of consumer goods and services for the Cayman Islands. Trained interviewers with identification cards from the ESO will visit 2,400 randomly selected households across all districts. The Household Budget Survey will run for 1 year, ending February 2024. Approximately 200 households will be interviewed each month. The interviews are confidential in accordance with a Statistics Act. No individual data will be published or disclosed. Survey data are exempt from Freedom of Information requests. For further information on any aspect of the Household Budget Survey, please contact the ESO hotline at 516-3329.
Listening to the general public.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Because
There are more questions than answers.
waiting to take your calls right now.
What the public is saying.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. In studio, Mr. Andre Bailey from the Family Resource Center, talking about some of the first quarter programs up on offer from the FRC, including their ADHD program for parents to help them better understand working with their children and their children's schools, and then another workshop for parents helping kids with their anxious behaviors. We do have one caller on the line. Good afternoon, caller. Thank you for calling Talk Today.
Good afternoon. Happy New Year to you and your guest, Mr. Bailey. How are you?
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Thanks. Yeah, interesting topic to start off the year. I just wanted to offer a few points. Having had a child from primary school and high school who was diagnosed and, had to deal with the ADHD issues. First of all, I just wanted to say that some teachers and some parents, or I should say many teachers, many parents, do not buy into the ADHD thing. They're like, it's just a bad child. Parents as well, like I said, and they don't take the time, I believe, to communicate or understand and then evaluate the child. So that leads from the beginning to a foundation, if it's not identified, to be very difficult.
Excellent point.
But even when the child is evaluated and the findings are done, very often the educators and the schools, specific teachers, maybe not all, but some teachers still do not buy into it. They'll say, well, if why doesn't Johnny sit down like all the rest of the class? There are kids that just need to move around a bit more. They may need to have a fidget thing in their pocket, something to, help manage their hyperactivity. So there needs to be a lot more understanding. Also, the SENCO are great, but their way is far too insufficient in the schools right now. And some are shared between schools, and they might see a child once or twice a year, which is not sufficient, I don't think. And the only other thing that I would encourage you, apart from the great work you're doing with your classes, is to liaise more with the educators, because, for instance, they have standardized lessons for that cater to those with ADHD or other needs. But guess what? The exams are not. So even though a teacher may be treating a certain child with a certain, formula or way of teaching, when it comes to exam times, they're lumped in with everyone else. So it almost doesn't make sense. But anyway, great topic, and yeah, you're hitting all the buttons. So good luck with the program.
Caller, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, thank you too.
Interesting points there. I mean, the caller's calling in. He's calling from his own personal perspective, right? And this is who you're servicing. You're servicing the community and those who are bringing their concerns or their needs for certain resources to the table. It's interesting hearing his perspective on the school system and where there's areas for improvement. And I like that he said they are making the strides.
Yes.
There's just some gaps that need to be plugged, right?
There's a way to go. I mean, we're on our way, right?
Yeah, but you're making strides, and I'm glad the caller called in and was able to
really appreciate
elaborate on his personal experience. So that parenting children with anxious behaviors, before the break we're talking about, and how to help children and or parents themselves regulate their current state in order to tackle whatever challenge is in front of them, right? We'll keep using that word for the day. Whether it's getting on stage and doing public speaking, or whether it's going to that PE class where they're embarrassed, or it's going to that music class where they don't like that teacher, whatever that might be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these anxious behaviors are playing out, and they manifest themselves in different ways. But then there's the other side of the coin of making sure that, and we were talking during the break, of making sure that there is that communication between child and parent, because there's one scenario where a child feels nervous about going to school because he has to go on stage and do a public speaking scenario, and he's terrified of it. Mm-hmm. There's a whole nother scenario if he's going to school and there's something happening at that school that is creating this sense of terror in him.
Yes.
And he's coming home, and so it's not just about breathing, it's also about that communication level between child and parent.
Communication is very, very important. We have a program in an office called CPS. It's a collaborative and proactive solution.
Sorry, collaborative?
Collaborative and proactive solution.
Okay.
And that brings into forefront a lot of the communication pieces as to what is happening from the child's perspective and what is happening on a parent's perspective.
Is that tied into this parenting workshop?
The techniques from that are used within this in terms of how to bridge the gap between what's going on with the child, what's going on with the parent, and finding that middle ground into having some sort of collaboration. We're talking about how the communication works to improve all around what is happening with the child. All right?
Wonderful.
So if it is that he or she's experiencing something external, and it could be abusive, or simply just something that they do not feel that they are good enough to do, or they have the lagging skills in doing, then that communication piece helps them to get to the bottom of what's going on, get to the underlying layers. And then from there, once that is unearthed, then you're able to now make strategies, make plans, be strategic about how you go about improving that situation.
All right. Very well. And then you have another. So that program starts on the 19th.
On the 19th of January.
Another virtual program.
It's another virtual program.
Okay.
Or one of our early in-person program is the Father's First program, which starts on the 31st of January. So this will be a Wednesday evening program. It's an evening program. It starts at 6 p.m. and it runs for 2 hours each Wednesday evening for 8 weeks. Just 2 months of programming, and it's a Father's First program. It's of course, a program designed for fathers only. Yes.
I'm chuckling because you know I'm coming with a ton of questions on this one.
I do know.
So historically,
I do know you're coming with
so
it's designed for fathers only. First of all, we recognize the importance of developing more programs that are specific to men and to fathers. Yep. Fathers First is one of those programs. And we have 2 types. We have the community-based Fathers First, which is what I'm talking about now. But we also offer this program in the men's prison at Northwood, where we do have sessions where the program itself, the full program, is run with fathers there. Even with being incarcerated, we still offer the program because contact is still had with children and with families, and we teach and help those fathers deal with being incarcerated while still maintaining a relationship with their families. right? So the community one, which I'm talking about now, starts on the 31st, and it is really an opportunity for fathers to explore fathering, to discuss frustrations surrounding fathering, and to discuss practical solutions for dealing with the journey of being a father. Yes, it goes through the history of becoming a father. It goes through what it was like being a boy and being fathered. And being fathered, including having a direct father or father figure in the home, as well as not having the presence of a father, an absentee father. And both situations will result in who we are as men and as fathers, and how we then translate that into fathering itself. So we discuss these things, we explore these things, and then we go into practical ways of looking at, as a father, what is your role? Fathering boys, fathering girls, how is it different? What is the relationship with the mother of your child or children? How does that look? What if you're a stepfather? What is the role of a stepfather, and how does that work? So we try to make it as 360 as possible. And this program, above all the other programs that we have at the Family Resource Center, is one that is client-directed, built in the program. That means that we have certain topics that we do cover, but then there are weeks in the program that is led by the fathers themselves. And
what do you mean led by the father? How do you mean?
Led, when I say led, I mean they determine what is going on with them, and we create within that space the content for dealing with those specific things. So each cohort might look slightly different for those weeks, because you might have one cohort that wants to discuss finances, for example. Another cohort who wants to discuss marriage and divorce as a topic,
sure,
as a
yeah,
father.
Of course, yeah.
So it is tailored to each cohort that we do have. At the top of the program, we find out the current themes that the fathers want to discuss, and then we look at the majority and we look at what is most important for the fathers there. A decision is made, and we put that together in the program itself. So we do have some structured themes that are covered, but then fathers are able to come in and to determine, to give direction to where we go for these particular weeks of the program itself. And I think that is very good, because they're not just coming to hear what we are presenting, but they are directing, if you will, what the discussions will look like.
Excellent place for us to take a quick pause. I like this. Back with more talk today after this quick commercial break.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles until December 31st, 2023. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I go and flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Freedom, Cayman Rack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Jingle all the way into the season of incredible savings and wish granting with Digicel. This Christmas, get 25% off your Prime Bundle plan or postpaid bill for the next 6 months. With plans featuring social data, entertainment data, and more, Digicel keeps you connected and entertained all season long. But here's the real magic. Digicel could make your Christmas wish come true. Win a prize of your choice, from getting your rent paid to a new laptop or even a brand new car. Visit a Digicel store today, where dreams come true this holiday season.
In 2022, 15 people lost their lives on Cayman's roads, and 2,915 road traffic collisions resulted in 32 serious injuries.
So far in 2023, 9 more people fell victim to road fatalities.
Parents lost sons and daughters.
Children lost their mothers, fathers, and caregivers.
Young lives were ended before they even began, and stories were cut short before they could be told.
But what if?
We learned to share the road.
We stopped texting and driving.
We did not let our friends drive after a few drinks.
What if we just took the time to slow down and think?
What if, as a community, we rose to the challenge of keeping our roads safe? What if we came together to stop these accidents and fatalities?
What if we all walked the road to zero and decided no more in 2024?
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Pleased to have in studio from the Family Resource Center, Mr. Andre Bailey. I'm a big fan of Andre. We've known each other for quite a number of years now since he joined the FRC, and has been instrumental in putting together not just these programs for the community, but in particular programs which are steered towards what I feel a lot of times is an underserved group, which are boys, men, and fathers.
Yes.
And so credit to Andre for the work he's been doing, I think. And it's not to say that boys, men, and fathers are ignored. I just feel that there's a lot of gaps in the way we look at how we communicate to boys, men, and fathers. And we were talking before the show of just when we talk about how schools are structured, how schools communicate, how teachers communicate, how workplaces communicate, how the courts communicate when it comes to fathers and mothers going through divorce and all this. I just think there's a gap in how we service boys, men, and fathers, and so credit to you for the work you're doing at the FRC and trying to help bridge that gap.
Yes, and I mean, and it comes out even in our International Men's Day campaign as well. We have, I mean, years gone by, we celebrate only a day for International Men's Day, but we've recognized the importance of increasing programs, increasing activities surrounding men and boys and fathers. So we have expanded our International Men's Day to almost a month worth of activities now, 3 full weeks of activities. And of course, at 2024, we want to make it bigger and better and expand that as well.
Well, you know you have an ally at Radio Cayman who's always happy to support the program that assists men.
For sure.
You know, here's a challenge I have for the FRC. I'll put it on air. I've said it before on air as well. The United Nations has a list of their recognized days. And you and I have had this conversation before, so you're well aware where I'm going with it. But some of our listeners may not be. So on International Men's Day was actually started in the Caribbean.
Yes.
It started out of Yui in Trinidad.
In Trinidad, correct.
When it started up, they saw a need to now International Women's Day had been recognized for far longer than this time. So professor at UE starts up International Men's Day on November 19th.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And then the United Nations came along a couple years later. And on November 19th, decided to recognize, instead of recognize International Men's Day, which is now being recognized by a number of groups, decided to recognize International Day of the Toilet. And I thought that was something that was almost viewed as, this is how we view men.
Mm-hmm.
This is the analogy, this is the metaphor for it. And I found it to be an insulting scenario. I think most men, fathers, boys they thought that was what the United Nations was now viewing as a recognized day instead of there's 365 days of the year.
Yes.
They could pick any other day. They chose November 19th for that day. I would love to see the Family Resource Center come out and say, this is not International Day of the Toilet. United Nations, you got it wrong. This is International Men's Day. That would be awesome.
It would be awesome. I mean, in our own discussions, even regionally, because the Cayman Islands is a part of a regional group
of course,
International Men's Day. So discussions would have been had with the idea of escalating any matters to the UN as best as possible. So
lead that charge. Cayman leads so many fronts. Lead that charge. I'm with you. I support you 100% on that.
Well, thank you for the support.
But again, back to your program. So I think the Father's First program is...
Right, so Father's First starts on the 31st of January. We're inviting fathers to sign up to be a part of this. Again, email the frc@gov.ky, or call us 949-0006. And express your interest. You could also go on our website, frc@gov.ky, and sign up for the Father's First program. It's always good. The last cohort we had, which was the end of last year, ended in November. And, IMD was going on. We were able to attend a talk. And there was a talk on fatherlessness held here on island, and it was so good. The men found it so enriching.
Who did that? I never heard about that. Who did that talk?
It was hosted by Art Nest, and the talk was delivered by Greg Miller. He's with Infinite Mind Care.
Mm-hmm.
And it was talking about fatherlessness within the society, within the region itself. And it was a wonderful talk, and the men, a part of that program, found it very helpful, rich discussion and so on, and it would help to bolster the program itself.
That's great.
Yes.
That's actually an interesting talk, because actually when I saw everything else here, there's an implement of, and it's timely for this year when we look at, we're now recognizing Emancipation Day in Cayman.
Mm-hmm.
And you look back to the days of slavery and the separation of parents and kids.
Yes.
And the forced removal of fathers
from
that
the
equation,
home.
right?
Correct.
This stems further back. And now today, there's a lot of shade thrown at, to use the term, deadbeat dads, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we've never fostered an environment really for dads to flourish in many ways. From time of birth, you can see the way nurses and doctors treat fathers compared to mothers. We're just a part of the equation. We're not in that environment.
Yes.
There's a number of factors, and that goes from birth straight up through school. You can see the way teachers speak to fathers versus the way they speak to mothers, and what is communicated versus what is not communicated.
And how
they speak to fathers. I've seen teachers speak to fathers with such contempt. Just the way they just communicate. Why would a father ever want to go back to that school and deal with that teacher? Yet if they don't, their children suffer. Look at the court system, whatever it might be. And so to hear Greg deliver a program on fatherlessness.
Yes.
And when you look at and not just the Caribbean, but you look at, not just Cayman, but you look at the Caribbean, look at the number of boys and girls who are growing up without a father figure. And then you look at the statistics globally, regionally, and in Cayman of where struggles are with kids growing up. And one of the most common factors in those who are having struggles in their teens and adults is the absence of
fathers in the home. Yeah.
In the home.
So the Father's First program helps to bring out some of that idea.
Good for you.
I mean, it's not necessarily we're saying we're targeting deadbeat dads. No, it's for
no,
every father, because that's not what it's about. It's about recognizing and getting the additional support, additional tools to fulfill some of those roles of being a father, what presence look like and how to be present, even if you're not directly living in the same home as your children.
Yeah.
So we're encouraging fathers to be there. Moms who are listening, if you can have the fathers sign up, help them. They might not be hearing the program, but you are. Tell them about it. This is available. Be a part of it.
I would take that one step further. Help create an environment that they want to come.
That they want
especially
to come.
if you are in a separated and you're co-parenting. Create that environment. Don't use this as telling them. Help create an environment where the father is going to want to attend because it'll help your children.
Yes.
That
meaning advise them that this is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't go voluntold your husband and sign them up for the program. And
not voluntold. Create that environment that they want to be a part of. It's an opportunity, and let's make the resolution across the board not to waste opportunities this year.
I love that. You know, I'll put another one there.
Yes.
Let's create this year in Cayman. Let's create an environment where fathers are welcoming of mothers, mothers are welcoming of fathers, and we create and foster an environment for both to flourish, because that's ultimately nothing. If we don't correct that imbalance and those imbalances, and we don't create environments for fathers to be able to be a father,
yes,
it doesn't matter how much money we invest in different programs, we're failed out the gate.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, we're looking at the best interest of our children, and children need both mom and dad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and grandparents.
And grandparents.
Yeah, I mean,
and the whole community.
And the whole community, right? It's a community. Andre, I love it. I always enjoy talking to you. I know I give you a hard time sometimes, but you take it with a grain of salt and you laugh it off and go, okay, another day.
No, and it's good. It challenges us, and we try to do better. We aim to do better because we want to serve the community as best as we can.
That's wonderful. So one quick reminder, give our listeners quick information on how they can get a hold of you.
Yes, please contact us by calling us 949-0006. That's 949-0006. Email us at frc@gov.ky or find us on all social media platforms. We're there on Facebook, on Instagram. You can look for us at FRC Cayman and connect with us. Email us, call us, go on our website, frc@gov.ky, and all the information is there. All the contact details are there as well.
Andre, thank you so much. All the best with your self-care, travel, New Year's resolutions.
Yes,
I support you entirely on this one.
Thank you.
And all the best with these programs for the quarter. On that note, we're going to our 2 p.m. headline news. We can come back. We'll be sitting down with Dr. Livingston from UCCI. Back with more talk today, right after this.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. On January 3, 2024, Cayman Airways Flight KX480 from Grand Cayman to LA developed a minor defect with the captain's windshield on landing in LA. The defect occurred in the outermost non-structural layer of the windshield, and whilst this defect does not affect the aircraft's ability to be safely operated, a decision was taken by Cayman Airways to remove the aircraft from service in order to have the windshield replaced in LA before further flight. The aircraft that was removed from service in LA is scheduled to be returned to service on January 6, 2024. In international news, the Israeli defense minister has outlined proposals for the future governance of Gaza once the war between Israel and Hamas is over. There would, he said, be limited Palestinian rule in the territory. Hamas would no longer control Gaza, and Israel would retain overall security control, he added. Fighting in Gaza continued alongside the plan's publication, with dozens of people killed in the previous 24 hours, the Hamas-run health ministry said. Hiring in the U.S. was unexpectedly strong last month as the American economy continued to defy forecasts of a slowdown. Employers added 216,000 jobs, and the employment rate was unchanged at 3.7%, the Labor Department said. Government hiring drove the gains, which extended one of the strongest streaks of job creation on record. The growth has confounded forecasters expecting job losses as higher borrowing costs slowed the economy. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, who will be back in studio on Monday. Pleased to have in studio now from UCCI, Dr. Livingston Smith, VP of Academic Affairs and Workforce Development. Good afternoon, Dr. Livingston. Welcome to Talk Today.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here to talk about the new semester.
Yeah,
that
it's a big year.
The spring semester, yes.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too.
I got to ask, I've asked everybody else, do you have any New Year's resolutions?
Yes, one would be to get UCCI even better well known in the community.
Okay.
About what we do and about the opportunities that are there.
To really get out there.
Definitely, we want to get the word out there a bit more this year. And of course, on a personal note, definitely to become a better father and husband, things like that, you know.
All right.
We can always do better in every.
You can always be better today than you were yesterday, right?
Excellent. Definitely.
Better this year than you were yesterday.
Indeed.
Or yesteryear.
Indeed.
Good for you. I love it. All right. Well, let's jump right into
Right.
UCCI.
So, Mr. Singh, the new semester begins. We started already, but classes begin on Monday, the 8th.
Right away.
That is the spring semester. But there is still an opportunity for persons to get registered. We're talking about our ongoing students. Make sure you have gone onto our system, you have come by for advice, that you're good to go, because classes begin on Monday. And we have a week, of course, where they can add and drop, that kind of thing. But there might be persons listening now. You can also go on now to get registered. We offer a plethora of courses at different levels, Mr. Singh. For example, we have our associate degree courses in many areas, or bachelor's courses. And, of course, we have our postgrad courses. Let me just talk very quickly about our associate degrees that we have in all the spheres of knowledge, really. It's certainly
you got a lot.
Natural sciences, in business, and the social sciences, and engineering, and so on. And
you have the skill tree. You have like the skills. I
the TVET. Oh yes, definitely. Equally important.
And you look at the construction going on, which we don't see stopping anytime soon. Those TVET programs.
Right,
like getting that service now.
Right, and UCCI is really a center for TVET in many ways. So we have bachelor's programs in, say, nursing, social work, in business, and sciences, engineering, and so on. And we want to get the word out that these are really great programs and comparable to other schools. And so you also mentioned TVET. I come to TVET shortly, but we have postgraduate programs also, master's programs, or MBA program, or MPA program.
What does MPA stand for?
Master's in Public Administration.
Ah, thank you.
And our HR master's program also. Our MBA and MPA programs are fully online, and we have even reduced the cost of doing it, not just $10,000. It's a great program. We want to encourage persons to be part of that. We have a variety of IT programs, Mr. Singh, water sports, hospitality, construction, plumbing, IT, and so on. And what UCCI has evolved into is to make education accessible. So we have online possibilities along with face-to-face and hybrid.
Sure.
All right. So nobody has any excuses now about not getting further education or getting your degree. All right.
Sure.
That's very important for us to understand.
Access, yeah.
Precisely. And we also have just launched a digital certificate program. It's a range of short, stackable IT qualifications which help people either get ahead in their career or start a career in IT. And these are also delivered mostly online. I want to just mention also...
Can you briefly just touch on that IT? Because I think it's a great... the way you've actually outlined
right.
the
We have an excellent IT department at UCCI.
The world has changed so much in such a short span of time.
Precisely. Yeah. And especially in IT, I mean, given the...
That field changes daily.
Precisely. I mean, even... to talk about technology generally, even in terms of education, I mean, even talk about AI and that kind of thing. It's transforming the way we see education. You know what I'm saying? So for example, I'm doing a course now about AI and tertiary education, just to make sure that we know what's going on and be able to transition and to make what we're doing pretty much in line with what's happening. All right. So tertiary education is always very dynamic.
Sure, especially in that IT field.
Definitely in IT.
Nursing doesn't change a whole lot.
You'd be surprised.
Oh, no, does it really?
It does change. And you mentioned nursing. We do, of course, have a program in nursing.
Which, I want to talk about. So when we talk about people going through school, there is the self-improvement dynamic of wanting to improve thyself and develop your education. Then there is the practical side of saying, this is the career field I want to go into. When we look at things like IT, I feel that is going to continue to grow, especially in Cayman, where you have organizations who are making investment here. You look at your TVET program, you look at the development, the construction going on. All of those units have plumbers, whatever it might be, that need to service them, and there's going to be a growing market. You look at the nursing. I just read an article about Guyana. Guyana, one of the only other GDPs in the Caribbean to see a huge GDP increase. Has a shortage of nurses.
The oil reserves.
They have a shortage of nurses. They've just gone and hired 300 nurses from Cuba.
From Cuba, yes.
That's a huge story. Like
it is. It's good that they could get it regionally. That's excellent.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned TVET again, I want to just emphasize the extent to which UCCI offers a variety of TVET courses.
I've seen them.
I didn't mention hospitality and construction and plumbing. And things like that. And the word needs to get out there that these are taught by very, very experienced persons who are qualified in their fields.
Sure.
All right? And they offer at a very high level. You mentioned a while ago, Mr. Singh, the fact that education is not just the degrees and the IT, but there are also short courses that are can just get you up to something.
Absolutely.
For example, we have short courses. We wanted Fridays, courses such as cake baking, construction, ESOL, that's English for speakers of other languages.
Okay.
There are many persons who, of course, Cayman is very multicultural and so on, so that helps those persons to learn English quite quickly. So all of these are available. I mentioned the associate programs, the bachelor's programs, the graduate programs, the TVET program, the short programs. I've also mentioned the extent to which we offer them online and face-to-face and hybrid to ensure that we're covering all our bases. To ensure that
the world's changed. How people access
get an education of that nature. So again, everybody, I want to excite you about UCCI. We have all of these programs. Classes begin on Monday.
Is there a late registration? Can they start late if they can't get on?
Yes, the person can have a little window, So that's why I'm here now to say, please hurry along.
Yeah,
come along and
don't come too late.
Yes, precisely.
The door's still open for you.
And some person might want to come for advice too about what they want to do. Maybe they want to start next semester. That's okay too.
Yeah.
All right. And some persons might be hearing about nursing for the first time, or social work, or the business field. They're all there. Call us, come by us, and we'll walk you through what we offer there too. I did mention, Mr. Singh, I also want to talk about the lecture series.
Before you jump to that, can I ask you a question about, because I read it, I'm reading through the listing, you have so many courses to go through here. One of the ones was the Construction Technology Level 1, offered full-time and part-time in the evenings alongside programs in the solar industry.
Yes.
Solar industry being another big.
That's a huge
walk
area.
me through what that is. That's a whole.
And I can't tell. I can speak to it in its complicated detail, but certainly it's a fascinating area. We have at UCCI a sustainability center developing, and solar.
Nice.
Yes, in fact,
I've seen it now.
You've
say
heard
that
about
I've seen it.
Definitely.
Yes, I've heard that, but I've seen these.
is
sustainable
going towards
UCCI.
Definitely.
Yes, I've seen
and so that's also part of that. All right, very, very unique and up-to-date program. So yes, persons can come there and do something in solar.
Sure,
definitely.
And practical skills, not just theoretical. Practical skills they can take into the actual.
Practical skills. Interestingly, you mentioned practical skills because I want to just touch on that. Even persons, who are doing like a course in business or a course in social work or whatever it is, there's always a practical element to it.
Sure.
So theory is not divorced from practice. Theory informs practice.
Yes.
All right. And theory helps you to think critically and to analyze what is current.
I see the doctor coming out of you now. This
is
the I love it.
So, no. It's important.
I love it.
Sometimes, of course, that's not theory. No, it's not just theory. I mean,
theory feeds practice.
Ideas are important, and ideas tend to precede action.
I love it. Yeah.
All right.
No, absolutely.
So that's also very important. Right?
We do have one caller on the line. Good afternoon, caller. Thank you for calling Talk Today.
Hi, I just have one question. What does the construction course involves? You just go a little deeper in what we will be actually taught in this course. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your call.
That's an excellent question. It's not my field, but I can speak to it to say that it covers definitely the basics right up to the fundamentals, all right? But what I would want to do, though, is to ask the gentleman to just email the school or come by. You could email me and so on, and I'll put you on to the person who runs that program.
And what is the email address to reach you at? Or
definitely, lsmith@ucci.edu.ky. lsmith@ucci.edu.ky, and I'll immediately put that person on to the dean of that division. Excellent. And possibly to the lecturer.
It's a great question. I think for all the courses, people are looking at education, they're looking at, and I go back to that practical. Theory feeds the practical, but to his question, like, what exactly are we actually going to be physically learning? And it's great that you can actually.
And he mentioned construction, which is very good because there's a boom in the Cayman Islands, and that's part of why we want to excite people to come and do that.
Absolutely. We have to go to our 2:15 break. When we come back, let's dive into something I'm actually really excited about, which is the Distinguished Lecture Series.
Indeed.
Back with more Talk Today right after this.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what, though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old girl.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always always here, just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymanational.com today.
Get ready to laugh till your belly hurts. The Laughter Lounge Comedy Show is back at Cabana Bay Cinema on Friday, January 5th. Doors swing open at 9 p.m. and the laughs kick off at 9:30 p.m. We've got comedians from Miami, Chicago, and Atlanta, including the hilarious Valerie Salnave, Sacco from the Windy City, and the fabulous Vanessa Fraction. Brought to you by Laugh Cayman and sponsored by the Department of Tourism and Cayman Islands Little League. Tickets and info at laughcayman.com or call 326-4510. Don't miss the funniest night of the year.
Are you a Caymanian interested in a career in the TVET sector? The Ministry of Education is now offering grants to fund short-term TVET courses at registered local institutions. Whether you're looking to upskill, transition to a new career, or find employment, this grant is for you. To learn more and apply, visit www.moescholarship.gov.ky. Invest in your future with a local TVET grant today. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education.
The banter, the information, the interaction. The return is set for 7:30 Monday morning.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
There we go. And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Pleased to have in studio from UCCI, Dr. Livingston Smith, discussing the opening of our conversation was about the upcoming semester and that it's not too late to register. 4 courses for the semester and quite a bit on offer. And the next part, which I'm quite excited about as well, is their new series, the Distinguished Lecture Series. Dr. Livingston, I love this.
Yes, definitely. I was very enthused about talking about the variety of courses that UCCI offers, but the university is also interested in engaging the public in distinguished lectures, in public lectures. All right.
What was the motivation to actually launch this series?
It's not a new thing. We have had many in the past. We're just bringing it back, but this time we thought that we should focus on very distinguished Caymanians. There are many persons who did a lot to build the Cayman Islands, but not enough persons know about them. You know?
Unfortunately, history does
very
unfortunate.
And a society is built not just by physical artifacts, but by the way you cement history and you understand history and the significance of what people have done.
Sure.
All right. So we thought about nation building having different facets to it. Mm-hmm. All right. And one facet has to be talking about how things evolved and the individuals who were part of that evolution. And so these lectures, we are using distinguished Caymanians and saying, hi, have you ever heard about Ormond Panton, for example? We're going to have a lecture, this one, in honor of Ormond Panton. We've pushed it back to February 1. So it's February 1, Thursday at 6 p.m. at UCCI. In the hall there, the Sir Vassal Johnson Hall, and I'm inviting persons to get registered. You can just come, but you can also go on and
it's free admission. Though.
It's free admission. Yeah. It's free admission. So it's called the Ormond Panton Inaugural Lecture. But the broad idea is to inculcate a sense of memory, really. That's very important. We want to educate students, young people about these giants of Cayman. We want to get persons involved in talking about these persons, their importance in society. And for this lecture, the person who's going to deliver the lecture is Professor Nathan Conley. He's a professor at Johns Hopkins University. In fact, he has Caymanian background. And his topic is Letters from the Ancestors, Family History, Political Economy, and the Future of the Cayman Islands. We have been working on a documentary on Ormond Panton. We have an essay competition sent to all the schools that people can get involved in the research about Mr. Panton. Interestingly, Mr. Singh, we also have 150 copies of a book entitled Special Son. Special Son is the biography of Mr. Ormond Panton, written by Dave Martins. We are going to give a free copy to the first 150 persons who come to that lecture.
Who register?
Yes. I mean, register, that's fine, but even if you haven't, just turn up to the lecture. The first 150 persons, you register so we make sure, but please just turn up if you haven't, even if you haven't registered. You want to be there, but please go and register too.
Just to clarify, because I'm reading some of the notes from the first minute, that registration is actually a mandatory process here. So you do want to make sure people are actually registering. They have to show up, but they want to make sure they register.
Right, but even if you haven't done so at a particular time, still turn up.
Okay.
Still turn up. That's very important. All right. We don't want you to miss it at all, but please go register, but please turn up for the lecture.
Yep. That's great that you're actually giving me the book. Actually, I signed up already, so hopefully I'm entitled to a book. I actually wouldn't mind reading this to my son.
Right. And that book is
it.
actually a great biography of Mr. Panton, but it's not just about his life as a person. It's also about Cayman history, of the society involved, his economy, familial relationships, and things like that, the politics, because Ormond Panton formed the first real political party in the Cayman Islands.
It's an interesting conversation there.
Interesting, yes, definitely. And so I mentioned about the documentary and about the
Which is great.
The essay competition.
So walk through the essay competition, because I didn't have that in my notes here. What is the essay competition, and how do students actually register? Is it for students, I'm assuming, or for anybody?
Right. It's for students in primary, secondary, and tertiary schools. We have sent the essay topics to all the schools already, and now we're going to follow up. But there also, some monetary motivations there too. If persons, for second and third prizes.
It's actually a great little idea to actually create that incentive. While I appreciate that history should be wanted to be absorbed by everybody, the reality is that there's a lot of information out there in this day and age, and creating this incentive contest to write an essay and be engaged in researching about Mr. Panton's life, his professional career, which his life is his life and his biography there, but so much has shaped Cayman.
Yes.
And that generation of the political atmosphere, the technological atmosphere, that was the rise when technology really started taking a foothold in how business works, how Cayman fit into the region.
Right.
There's a lot there, and I appreciate history. I think it's really important that all kids have an understanding of this, because it explains a lot about why things happen the way they do today.
Right, precisely. So again, we're inviting everybody to come by on the 1st of February, Thursday, 6 p.m. to see the documentary, yes, to see who are the winners of the essays, but in particular to come and listen to the lecture and to be a part of the conversation, because after the lecture, a person can ask questions, and you're going to see persons who you haven't seen before, maybe, or a long time. You can talk about these big issues, all right? So this is the first of a series of lectures. In fact, we are going into the schools to just to have sessions on these persons as part of the process.
Yes, of course.
We move on to look at Miss Lassie later on, and then we go on.
Oh, do you have a list of who?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Can you share some of that?
Well, certainly.
Or if you can't,
Vassar Johnson and some other. So we're going to keep that a bit quiet, but certainly we want to remind persons about the significant Caymanians who should not be forgotten, right? And we want to just talk about them and what they contributed, but to talk more broadly about Caymanian history, Caymanian culture, and Caymanian society. Sure.
That's fantastic. A lot there. So again, just to remind our audience, that is the first one of the Distinguished Lecture Series. Did I say that right? Did I get it?
Yes.
Which is honoring the late Mr. Ormond L. Panton. February 1st. I know this date was moved, so keep in mind it's February 1st now at 6 p.m. at the Sir Basil Johnson Hall at UCCI. Now, there's going to be a guest speaker. Now, refresh me again. What the guest speaker is Professor Nathan Connolly, which by his last name has roots from Cayman. But what is he going to be talking about again?
Right. The topic he's going to be dealing with, I've just mentioned, is letters from the ancestors, family history, political economy, and the future of the Cayman Islands. So the lecture is in honor of Mr. Panton.
I see.
And we also
Okay.
have a documentary on Mr. Panton.
I see. Okay. Now
So the idea is that Mr. Panton would have focused on the economy and those broad issues.
Yes.
All right. So it's a lecture in his honor, while we have some historical details about this important person. So, for example, we're going to Miss Lassie. We're going to talk about Miss Lassie, but we talk about the arts, the Caymanian art and literature, and the imperative of those for nation building, things like that.
I have one more question, just given the topic and the generation of Mr. Panton, I'm assuming there's going to be a number of our seniors who would have liked to attend this event, but may not be able to physically attend the event.
Right.
Will there be streaming opportunities where they can watch online, or somehow for the documentary to be re-aired on your sites after the fact?
The documentary,
so that our seniors can actually still enjoy this documentary.
We believe that documentary, Mr. Panton, apart from being shown partially there, is going to be an education tool going forward.
Okay, so there will be opportunities for
definitely
students and our seniors, especially those who can't physically attend.
We expect, for example, for it to be shown on national television and things like that.
Okay, great, good to know.
Yeah,
it's good to know that there's a robust, and this is great to have it in person.
We do have a UCCI TV too. I don't know if you know about that. UCCI television.
I did not know you had UCCI television.
We have a studio there that we do interesting things.
That is interesting to know. I'm going to write that down because of all my years of working with UCI, I had no idea you had TV.
It's run by Professor Ivan Eubanks, who's coming from Ivy League University. He's really very good at what he does. And he's a person who is putting together this documentary.
That is, I'm very excited to know a lot to learn today.
Indeed.
Which is very odd.
So I know the time is gone.
No, it is
so
gone.
Again, we're saying, if you haven't registered us yet, come by UCCI, get into one of the programs, bachelor's, master's, TVET, short courses, or whatever. All right? And be excited also about the lecture coming up on February 1.
So to
at
register,
6 p.m.
they just go to your website, ucci.edu.ky.
Yes.
Please do register so they can have a clear understanding of how many people are coming, so we don't have any fights at the door of people trying to get in.
Right.
And then, Dr. Livingston, if you can just give out your email address again, because I know we have some questions coming up.
lsmith@ucci.edu.ky.
That's fantastic. So again, that's February 1st. That's the first of the Distinguished Speaker Series featuring the former Mr. Ormond L. Panton. That is February 1st at 6 p.m. Thank you again, Dr. Livingston, and all the best for your New Year's resolutions.
And thank you. Thank you so much.
On that note, we do need to call it a wrap for today's show. Thank you again to all of our loyal listeners out there in Radio Cayman Nation, our guests from the Cayman Arts Festival, the Family Resource Center, and Dr. Livingston here from UCCI, and of course, Mr. Paul Cal in studio. Reminder, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks will be back in the hot seat on Monday, so give him a call and give him a hard time for missing the last 3 weeks. I know he'll be happy to hear from you. On behalf of the entire Radio Cayman family, have a very happy Friday and a safe weekend. I'm Raymond Singh, and God bless.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.